sure, Microsoft started off last generation with some pretty poor decisions with the Xbox One, but they actually did lay the foundation for an incredible console, an incredible platform going forward, and this is exactly what people want to see from Xbox going forward. I love seeing this personally, so hopefully you guys are going to enjoy the video. I'm sure you will. Please leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. So we know that the Xbox One is celebrating its 10-year anniversary. Obviously, it's one of those things that had kind of a rough launch, but ended up selling what people are saying like around 60 million units. So hardly a colossal failure in terms of maybe what the Dreamcast did, or even the, some could even say the Wii U. It sold far more. So it's not really an original observation. The Xbox One predicted the future. Digital-only consoles are standard, and every console is a place where people not only play games, but watch TV and movies. However, the Xbox One did not realize and didn't really release in the future we live in currently, but when the industry was still haltingly moving towards its digital-focused future. Fairly quickly, Microsoft walked back its policy that games bought on disc would be connected directly to your Xbox account and removed the online check-in requirement. However, Xbox One's failed bet on the future that was to come had an odd side effect. Xbox began to look to the past. It's kind of an ironic turn. Backwards compatibility was set to be a launch feature on the Xbox One, but when Microsoft walked back the console's online policies, it had to be shelved. By 2014, the company began to develop an internal emulator that could actually do backwards compatibility in secret. After over a year of hard work, starting on November 9th, 2015, you could play 104 Xbox 360 games on your Xbox One. Now, over the next few years, Microsoft added hundreds of games to the Xbox One backwards compatibility list, from obvious titles like Halo Reach to classics like Binary Domain. This program meant that if you wanted to play a broad slice of gaming history on a single device, the Xbox One was a good bet. With it, you could explore the changing landscape of AAA franchises like Gears of War or Call of Duty. You could also check out indies from Xbox-backed classics like Super Meat Boy to more contemporary experiments like Return to Dust. It became a lot of people's console of choice at the time because maybe you wanted to carry your 360 catalog forward. Obviously, unless you hack or mess with it, an Xbox One can't do everything. If you want a more interesting look at retro games or just want to play games released before 2001, you'll have to invest in other physical consoles or emulate them. Nevertheless, the backwards compatibility program represented an investment in the past that no other console manufacturer was doing. Fortunately, the generation continued this trend. So again, Microsoft really kind of set themselves up for success. But some people, still think maybe that they don't have anything exciting hardware-wise that's getting people excited about the future of Xbox. Maybe there wasn't a big enough change to like the dashboard. I mean, if you look at what Sony does, and listen, I'm not a big PlayStation fan myself, but they did come out with new controllers, and they managed to come out with some interesting stuff like that that realistically maybe got people excited, the haptic feedback and stuff, whereas Microsoft basically gave us the same controller that we already had since 2013. Sometimes people just look for that new thing, and it's kind of unfortunate when it doesn't happen, but, props to Microsoft for at least going out there and giving us options, I guess, and letting us take our stuff with us, because this stuff is expensive, so I understand that side of the argument too. In a time since the Xbox One's release, every other company has effectively let go of backwards compatibility. While the Wii was an awkward portal into every game generation prior to it, the Switch is restrictive, offering only ports of Wii U titles and subscription-locked handfuls of approved classics. The PS5 can play PS4 games, but not anything further back without buying a subscription or making a new purchase. In contrast, the Series X and S can play at least some games from every other model in existence of Xbox. Some of the games even feature improved performance as compared to the Xbox One's emulation. Again, it's worth not overpraising Xbox's approach to backwards compatibility. First and foremost, this was a savvy business move more than anything else. Backwards compatibility gave Game Pass a boost for including games from across Microsoft's backlog, like the original Gears trilogy, Blinks, and some other games. The program doesn't include thousands of games hosted as part of Xbox Live Indies, which all vanished since the service shuttered on October 7th, 2017. Furthermore, of the 2,155 games commercially released for the 360, only 655 made their way to backwards compatibility, though some of the remaining gaps not Xbox One ports. The history of Xbox has really kind of emphasized is a corporate nature and favors established hits for the 360 or original Xbox. So even by those standards, the approved games have obvious gaps. If you'd like to play, for example, any of the 3 Armored Core games that came out on 360, you'll have to buy an original model of the 360 itself, despite the franchise having a new critically acclaimed title. You'll have to shell out money and shelf space to check out any of the prior entries. It's also worth noting that Xbox's backwards compatibility program relies on digital check-ins. The Xbox servers read your 360 game disc, not to play it off of it, but again, it downloads it and it triggers a download from the Microsoft servers. If Microsoft decides in the future console generation to discontinue the program, you won't be able to play backwards compatibility games if you don't already have them downloaded. True preservation will never come through a big business because archiving and preserving cultural works is never really profitable. Xbox One's backwards compatibility program was a stopgap rather than an effective effort at preservation. It's not to say that it's worthless, as the Series X and S by extension can play a lot of old games and things like that, but if you look at it, I think Microsoft has done the right thing, and they've really kind of opened the doors, as far as I'm concerned, to, you know, game preservation in ways that we never really maybe thought of before. So for me personally, you know, I think that it's obviously one of the things that Microsoft has to, in my opinion, they have to really be able to continue working on this stuff. I don't understand why they stopped the program. I get that it's hard due to licensing and stuff, but you're freaking Microsoft. So the least you could do, in my opinion, is continue to try to get people to get more titles. It's an exciting thing. Even if a lot of people don't use it, it's still an exciting thing when they would come out and announce a new batch of backwards compatible games. It brought life to them. People would buy them, and, you know, all this kind of stuff. I think that's exactly what we need to see right now. It makes sense to kind of do something like that. I hope that they do go back and change some things and get something kind of set up like that, because we need Microsoft to go out there and excite the gamers again, and that gets people excited. I'm of the belief, you know, yes, the Xbox sales might be down, and that's a big topic, but the interesting part about that is that I feel like until you start off, and maybe it'll never happen where they're going to sell a bunch, but for me anyway, the way I look at this stuff, I look at it and I go, you know, people unfortunately went with PlayStation 4 when digital was picking up, so it is unfortunate, but you know, if you start off a new generation with great games right out of the bat, you know, you get a Call of Duty in Game Pass, I think anything can happen and anything can change. So we'll see what happens. You know, I'm excited by the future of Xbox. I'm sure that there's other people as well. I can't wait to see what they do. You know, it's an exciting time to be a gamer. Let me know what you guys think, but Microsoft kind of set themselves up for success in the future. Let me know what you think down below. Rack 'em up. Crap Gamer out.